With the Atlanta Rain starting to look like they might have a shot at the play-ins later on this year, those playoff spots, Matt, are starting to shape up a little bit more. And one of the teams who's looking comfortably in the mix is the London Spitfire. They're going up against the Florida Mayhem today, and what we will definitely call an El Clasico of a matchup. I mean, what does it go back to?
The rivalry runs deep here. The Jacksonville Jaguars from Florida played the Buffalo Bills in London during the last
Show the standings,
so,
show the standings.
That's where this rivalry started.
Tell you what, if I had to die for every time Bare Hands told me that the Mayhem will be killed by now, the league would have to pay me a lot more to get me to come in or give you the big tip, especially to cover this one.
I tell you what, though, I think the Mayhem, they're going in the right direction for the future. They know that the roster has become a bit of an issue.
2 and 21.
Yeah, they're starting to incorporate new players. I mean, you see a lot of new players in the roster, but London, that's the team that I want to talk about. They're moving up the standing. 15 and 9 right now. The map differential is good, and they really seem to have a good grasp of this meta here.
Yeah, they're sorting it out. We saw a little bit of Guardies getting mixed in here and there, but we did speculate that once we start to see Prophet, Birdring on their preferred heroes, they'll be able to do some damage. It definitely looks like Prophet has emerged again as the top DPS player on this roster.
I mean, the meta we're seeing right now, outside of like the May Reaper stuff, but like Orisa Hog and some other different types of compositions and Double Sniper, it's really kind of what London used to win the overall league playoffs last year, and you see why they're so strong with it. Undefeated here in Stage 4. I don't expect that to stop anytime soon.
Yeah. Changes here for the Florida Mayhem, but it's time to see if they can handle a reigning champion from Season 1. Let's bring him out to the stage. It is the Florida Mayhem. About where would you say your expectations are at the moment for the Mayhem now? We hear about rebuilding, we hear about this, that, and the other. The fact of the matter is,
look, I think if you're a Mayhem fan, you want to see them play better. They played better against Injustice, who's not good enough for a win. You want to see this roster progress, and I think at this point, look, you want to see them win, but I think in the way this roster is right now, you just want to see them improve as an overall unit, which I think after the Washington match, I think you did see some improvements there. We'll see if they can carry it in today against a much stronger team like London.
Yeah, I mean, getting reverse swept by the Washington Injustice definitely stings coming into this match for them. A chance to save some face and maybe save a bit on that map differential. Let's bring out their opponents, though, the London Spitfire. All right, feeling the new vibes, Matt. Now, you hung out with these guys fairly recently, obviously. You
Actus Grand.
Yeah, you went on paddle boats with them in the past. They saying they're pretty confident.
I have paddle boated with the London Spitfire. That's accurate. Yeah, they are. It's something that they were talking about, that they just needed the meta to kind of go their way towards the end of the season, that they weren't really worried, London, about the stage 1, 2, 3 playoffs. They were worried about winning it all yet again. And I think they've put themselves in a position where they're in the top 6, ideal. They haven't burnt themselves out, kind of going like 110% through the whole year. Now the meta is shaken out in their favor. They can play all the heroes they feel comfortable on, and they can make a run for that overall title yet again.
I mean, Bedosian, Matt, gets the nod for the South Korean Overwatch World Cup team over so many other potential candidates in that flex support spot. What makes this player so special?
He's so aggressive, and that team has selected IDK from the Hangzhou Spark, and then Bedosian as the 2 supports, and I think Bedosian, the flex support role, you look at like Twilight, Jonak, Violet, like all these players across the league, like it's almost a little bit like last year where Bedosian just kind of gets a little bit lost. He puts down so much damage, you see, on the Zenyatta in Stage 4.
Second to that, yeah.
His Ana is very strong. He's got a lot of, big heroes that he's able to play in his hero pool.
He's playing a bunch of Batiste as well, this stage. Yeah. In fact, I think in 60-odd% of their fights, the Spitfire are going for that hero, but Ocean's looking pretty good on that one too. Here's your map set presented to you by Toyota. It starts on the Junkertown. We'll begin things first. An opportunity maybe for some Farah picks. The Widowmaker's been seen here. Fist, I'm hoping.
Yeah, and I think if you're the Mayhem, when we saw the Mayhem play this map, they decided to run a Reinhardt comp the last time, which we haven't really seen.
On Control Center, wasn't it?
A lot of, yeah, which is a strategy we've seen in the past, but even now, you don't really see it that often. So we'll see what Florida decides to do. They change things up. The Mayhem have not won on Li Zhang. The Spitfire undefeated, but a lot of those control records and just map records in general, it's completely out the window, at least for me here, is the meta has changed so drastically.
Yeah, we aren't seeing goats on these maps anymore. Seeing a lot of May, seeing a lot of Orisa, and all the good stuff. Out of the gates is your London Spitfire, and they will go with the May and the Reaper combo. In fact, both teams are going for that. So essentially mirror comps here to the T. Both teams going to get to the point rather quickly. Still seeing some Lucio in the mix here, but a wall goes up early on. Sire player awkwardly actually has to raid form back to his team because he couldn't just turn around and walk away.
Yeah, now you see a lot of Moira on this point because it's just a ton of AoE healing down. You can see like Ocean behind the team, just throwing out those Moira heals. A lot of good value with the orbs as well.
So far, wall placement looking a lot better for the London Spitfire. You see that BQB just got cut off from the rest of his team at a very crucial juncture. Prophet placing those perfectly. Furthering gets taken out on the outside of the map. You see a Bionic Orb is thrown out here by Midoshin, trying to keep Prophet alive, and he is. Quartermain working the doorway. Another May wall comes off, and Bates essentially caught on the point. Interesting. Sire player actually has to raid form aggressively to try and start off the fight here because he was once more cut off. Midoshin gets a coalescence here. Huckburner already had his. Gesture there, gets caught out this time now as well. It's a matter of keeping Prophet up. Chris taken down by Birdring. Blizzard, no attempt for it yet. BQB goes down. Prophet tries to use his Blizzard there from what I can see.
He gets killed. He actually gets killed during the animation. Nice raid form there by Saya, and then comes out of it to take out Birdring. As London still in control of the point, they did use a sound barrier here, just trying to extend the percentage.
They're going to reinforce, Matt. They're going to keep this fight going now. Jester's going to be moving back towards the point and considering contesting it as he moves up for the London Spitfire now. It's a matter of prolonging this fight as much as possible. And again, that 4-5 for Gesture does help. It's 49% and ticking for London as they lose the point.
Yeah, 50% gotten for London here at the beginning, but the Florida Mayhem they're able to retake, and they have all 6 of their ultimates. So we'll see how they decide to spin these in the next fight, whether they have an idea that London really does not have anything in terms of ultimates right now. You can use like 1 or 2 ultimates saved for one of those last fights.
This bank of ultimates has to be worth at least 50% if the execution is right. But we did see Florida last week, Matt, lose a team fight where they had 6 ultimates, the opponents had 3. So execution is key. Gesture, a little bit caught out. Supercharger thrown down, but Sire player quickly cleans it up. And there's the Blizzard over the point. Great placement. Fury throws it stiff. Huggup and free now. So much space created by the Blizzard. Prophet wishing he still had his.
Yeah, now you ended up using Blizzard and Supercharger there for the Florida Mayhem. Maybe you could have held on to one of those, but now you have a Death Blossom, Sound Barrier, Coalescence, and your Self-Destruct. Self-Destruct you probably just used to kind of remech on the point. Death Blossom, we've been seeing it pick up a few more kills as of late, but it's not a huge ultimate. But now the Mayhem have passed London in terms of point percentage.
And
it
still
looks really
in an
good,
lead.
yeah.
A definitely questionable old economy by the Spitfire, but Ocean uses Coalescence in that prior fight. Even though they're going up against a fully stacked team in terms of ultimates, BQB in yet again. Prophet frozen once more. He's forced to go into Ice Block. Self-destruct thrown out, no catch, but Quartermain's already down, and Fury's lost his mech. Trying to play around Jester's shield as much as the Spitfire can. You see Ocean trying to make himself scarce, but Fate gets 2. And the Spitfire are cut down. And still really not much better in ultimates. Perhaps next fight, midway through,
it is
one
better.
more fight, man.
I mean, it is definitely better in terms of ultimates now for London. They needed to die fast in that fight to give themselves even a chance.
Did they die
to
fast
take this at the
enough?
end? I believe they did. As you know, 92%. You should be able to get a touch. Quartermain can go over the wall and get a touch on the Lucio.
And walls like that can really hurt your chances. Even Prophet's Wall prevented the Spitfire from getting in position. Now they have to fight up the point to start with here over time, ticking down. The Spitfire are no closer to getting to the point.
Fury jumped to the point.
That's bizarre.
Fury contested to force OT, then started to wrap back around. Maybe he thought because the Coalescence was used, that Quartermain was going to come around and try and contest the point as well, so take his spot. But just does not come through as the Mayhem steal that first round.
Here's the issue, man. Yeah. Look, Florida have 6 ultimates, and I think the idea for London was, okay, they had like a Coalescence, they had maybe a Supercharger there. Let's spend these ultimates, see if we can force some out of the Mayhem, but they end up trading. So when you go 1-for-1 on ultimates, when you're already down like 6-1 or 6-2, you're never going to be in the lead economically.
I mean, that's just an improvement that we've seen with Florida from the other day when we cast it to now. It's when they had those 6 ultimates the other day, they used basically all of them at once. This time they kind of cycle them throughout the point. They're able to just use those to take it. So a dive comes in here for the Mayhem. They have the Wrecking Ball Sombra Tracer. Looks like they're going to translocate back and they're going to switch this all up. Probably going to go something with the Orisa, maybe a Roadhog in play as well. No, they're going to go May Reaper and keep the Diva.
Spitfire will get to start on the point here, but it won't be unlocked until the fight's properly began, depending on how quickly Florida decide to make their way through. They actually can't move that fast now.
Yeah, no. They're going to give up point here, potentially, to London and kick things off.
Yeah, they're playing in a choke, so... Oh, there's a wall as well. Access denied. Spitfire take the point to start with. Now, simply stalling to 50% and then Using your old economy poorly is not going to be enough here. London have to knuckle down a bit more. That wall, it covers off half of the point. May so effective on this particular stage. And there it is, Sire player taken down, caught up with the rest of his team. Hargo couldn't keep him healed up. Fate now is in deep trouble. He's forced to hastily throw down a barrier, and he's chased past it. 2 already missing for the Mayhem.
Yeah, and the only way that Florida would have been able to contest that point at the beginning is that you saw them try and do it. So when they originally went in, Profit's wall came up, and then BQB also had a wall there as well. The wall from BQB needed to be faster. If they would have put the wall up from BQB, then Profit would not have been able to put his wall up, preventing them from touching the point. Then you could have gotten like some kind of contest at the beginning of the game, but due to that wall placement, you're not able to do so. It gives the point and ultimate advantage to London.
It's a big difference now. The Spitfire last time, they stalled to 50. But in this occasion, London are ahead in ultimates, and they're at 50. Now if they trade them back, they'll be looking fine. Fate goes down. Wall placed there voluntarily by the Florida Mayhem, and here's a Blizzard down. The Spitfire baited into that one somewhat. Quartermain able to do a Sire player here, and BQB again wants to try and throw up the wall, but he doesn't have any teammates really. Fury kind of positions the wall such that it's him versus the entirety of the Spitfire. Self-destruct, murdering caught by that one. That's a nasty kill. Sound barrier was used here, and Gesture still has some left over, but looks like it's stall mode for London.
They do have some players coming back here. Profit's going to come back through Blizzard. I believe that's through the window. Going to connect with a few.
Looks like he threw it around the corner of the wall. Either way, that's the first Blizzard I think the Spitfire managed to get, or at least the first gameful one. Again, Quartermain strikes in the kill feed. Finds Chris this time. Gargoyle trying to protect his Reaper as Verdering goes in for the Death Blossom, both attempting it, but Scion player looking better. This time the Spitfire stall for 93% almost.
And it's a good stall. They end up using a few ultimates, but it's worth it to get to one fight territory. So they do have a self-destruct for the next fight. No support ultimates, nothing really outside of potentially BQB having a Blizzard for this next fight. So what you could do is use the self-destruct to kind of force players forward, use the May wall as well to split some players off with it, but you lose Profit at the beginning. That's a huge loss. That loses the May wall. You can't split players off. You're going to have to wait for him to get back.
Profit tried to buy some time for his teammates to actually break through BQB's wall by using Ice Block. And now with the wall sort of being tuned down in terms of its durability, you can break through much easier. Just wasn't quite quick enough from London. BQB will try it again. Catch Fury out. Fury usually the one to go first, but he actually doesn't have a way to escape here. Now BQB's going to throw down the Blizzard. Gargoyle gets rid of the mech. No chance of Blizzard being eaten up. Wall throwing down. Fury does get an exit kill. Chris falls to the self-destruct, but the Mayhem are there for the cleanup.
As he ends up having to use that self-destruct in not exactly an offensive way. You needed it to just kind of stay alive, keep the push going. It's now for London. You don't really have much of anything. You're going to have Blizzard coming up here shortly. So what road do you decide to take? Do you want to go into those close quarters? Because then it becomes a game of just like whose May gets the better wall and split players off.
You want to bait the Mayhem into committing on you to get good value out of the Blizzard, but Florida can just cut someone on the Spitfire off for the wall.
Maybe you see them put up a wall and then throw the Blizzard behind it. This will be a self-destruct that comes in for the Mayhem at the beginning.
Self-destruct, Profit's going to ice block that one away. Oh, cheeky. He actually throws a Blizzard in there despite Gargoyle still having his mech. Profit now walled off for the most part. Here comes the Death Blossom in from Sire play, though. Hasty sound barrier plant from Quartermain to keep London alive through that damage burst, and it works for the most part. They do lose Gesture. Fury now is on tank duty, but he's 1v1 against Sire player. Another great wall from BQB. Now 93%. Florida Mayhem gaining here in capture percentage, and the map hangs in the balance, but the Spitfire, they're in tatters. Another wall attempted, a wrecking ball to the point here for Gesture. Another Blizzard, though. Florida have all the answers, all of the trump cards, and now Profit gets blown up immediately. But Ocean has to fade forward onto the point to try and keep it contested with Coalescence. But Gesture's taken down by Sire once more. Going in ones and twos might have worked on Noah's Ark, but not against the Mayhem. Sire play to push up now. Sound barrier means we'll take this 1v1, and Verdering won't escape. Overtime for a few seconds, self-destruct blocked off by the wall, and it was Quartermain who had to stall things out. He gets a touch, but Bedosian now is going to have to fade forward. Mora never wants to do this aggressively. Fury and Profit is still there. Turning up on the Diva, the wrecking ball for Gesture to elongate this fight, but man, I don't see the Spitfire getting back into this.
You do have Florida able to control the point. You're going to get one touch here at the end. You're going to have Verdering coming in, does have the Death Blossom, going to raid for him here, but it's not going to get anything. Overtime ends, and the Florida Mayhem will take this first map 2-0.
Yeah, looking good. Florida getting great value out of May and May Walls. BQB absolutely a standout player. Gargoyle do an excellent job as well to make sure Sire player is getting good Death Blossoms, not getting interrupted, not getting shut down. And the old economy just looked very good from Florida. We'll be back in just a moment.
The Overwatch League is powered by Intel. Game, record, stream without compromise on Intel Core i7. And by Omen by HP, the official PC and display of the Overwatch League.
One, two, check. Hey, your microphone, check.
What?
Ah, stop it. I will fight you.
If there's any problem with your sound, say it.
Yeah, I have a problem with my sound. I can hear AKM in my headphones.
Yeah, same.
Is it Rockets blowing through his mic again?
No, it wasn't
Oh,
wrong.
that was me. Sorry.
Oh my god.
It's okay, Dante.
Yeah, you would say that, Rockets.
It's never me. I never hear it.
It's never me. I never
Never
hear
hear
it. Wait.
My
That means it's
guy.
literally only you.
Nah, I just don't.
My mic still out?
No, you're not bad. Just don't yell.
Okay. Yo, mic is so raw.
We want to spread them thin. We don't want to. Sorry. 3, 2, 1, fighting!
Wow.
Wow. Visual and Frankie. Late cherry for you guys.
Yeah, that was pretty insane. I was surprised.
Calm down, man.
You calm down right now. Little man, little guy, little dude, little boy.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Ora!
I like that one.
That was good.
I feel like the open mic thing doesn't use much of me because I fare a lot.
You want to be on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, say, yo, can I please be on the open mic?
Yo, can I be please on the
Me
open
too.
mic?
I haven't
put,
been on the
put
open
Ark
mic
on the
yet.
open mic, please.
I've never been on it.
I got sunglasses
Now that we did stupid stuff, we're gonna be an open mic. Yo,
on, bro. Let's go.
shout out to open mic, man.
And now you see what these players do to get themselves on open mic. Now you understand Bren's social media strategy. Gesture, though, likes to have a little bit of fun. Unfortunately, this match so far has been anything but fun for him. He has been getting bent into a pretzel, especially by Reaper.
Yeah, they got dunked on there. That map number 1 is Saya player was very strong for the Florida Mayhem. 17 final blows on Reaper. You
Yikes.
see the difference between him and Birdring. The Death Blossom kills, usually not a huge stat, but just being able to pick up kills with it. I think you kind of almost die when you use Death Blossom, right? So I think getting anything before you go is obviously a plus, but I think it's just the potential of Saya player as a player, right? Like, we know he's capable of these types of performances. We just haven't really seen. Last year, I feel like he wasn't really surrounded by a lot of the talent needed to pick up like loads of wins. I feel like this year, at the beginning, like sometimes he's in, sometimes he's out. Then you see him come back in here. When we have some more damage dealers in play, he's been playing quite well.
Coming up next, Volskaya Industries. A note about Birdring as well. I've had a chance to hang out with him a couple of times, and like some players are modest, like they know that they're good, and they just pretend like they're modest. When you go and tell Birdring how good he is, he just strikes his head, he's like, no, I'm just a noob. And I'm like, so now we tease him. We call him the pride of London because we know he hates it, because he just thinks he's bad. It's not true, but he's in his own head so much. This is definitely a situation where London need to, well, pull their heads out of the sand and get in the game, especially with Birdring on the window, Matt.
This is a good comp for London, something they feel very comfortable running on the defensive end. Double sniper, the Arisa in place. This is like 3 of their main players on heroes they really love. I mean, Fury and Bedosian on
you're against Saya player BQB on Widow Sombra, though.
Yeah, I mean, look, Saya player Birdring is going to be a very good Widow matchup if we get it. Looks like Saya just sitting in the spawn. You have some changes coming in here.
He Hanjo today.
So he'll go with Hunt.
Ora!
So you bring in the Hog as well in this type of composition. You just have really good pick potential. Maybe we say BQB. So now they're going to go back and switch again. Do they play like Widow in the Han zone? Did they play? Yep. Yeah, so they'll go double sniper. So.
Well, after all that, now we know what Florida are playing. They've lost about 35 seconds doing so. So a little bit of a bleed there for them. But at least now they're set up to try and leverage this double sniper comp. It's going to be quite an exciting head-to-head between both duos of snipers. I mean, Profit on the Hanzo, you really can't pass that up.
And it is a huge map 1 win for Florida Mayhem, and they get a pick to kick things off as Quartermain just around the corner. But I saw Brian tweet that in the last 11 matches for London, they've lost map 1 9 times, which is crazy to think about.
Even though their Lee Chung record was so good. But yeah, they've been losing map 1 all the time recently. Gesture played Targopun though, but there it is. Saya player touted as the best counter sniper in the Overwatch League. Shows us exactly why he's got that title. He and BQB are going to town on the Spitfire. Gesture the only one for London who's actually been finding kills here. Saya might struggle. Yep, Fury's not going to let him get away here. And with Fate on his own on the point, despite the pressure of the double sniper composition, the durability, the staying power of Florida's team comp was removed.
Yeah, and they used the Transcendence to heal the 2 tanks back up. They're on the point alone. Fury goes and pressures out Saya player up on the high ground. You have some extra damage that comes in from Bedosian to put it away. Is that got scary there for London. The good part for the London Spitfire is that they don't even give up a percentage of point A take there.
This is the head-to-head. Saya player and Birdring. Generally going to be looking for one another or trying to pick off the Batista. Zen on either side. Bedosian finds Fate, no Fury's down. Losing Quartermain there is not ideal. Quartermain's got picked off by a couple of...
2 fights in a row.
Yeah, and look, both of them are avoidable, I'll be honest. Birdring knows how to take the battle against BQB up close and personal, and Saya player's waiting on his infra side here before he peeks out. That'll just be 1 second. He pops it immediately now and steps forward. Birdring's going to use his in response to make sure that teams are equal footing in terms of information. But the Spitfire going to give the Mayhem a bit of ground, and Bedosian does not want to get caught out there at all. He could have had a Transcendence later on in this fight, but it's a trade. Fury sends a bomb in and gets rid of Hagopun, but losing Profit here isn't good. Saya player strikes once more. Immortality field thrown down on the point to buy a couple extra seconds for Fury, but he goes down as he tries to head to the high ground. Gargoyle will break down this shield, hook in, Gesture removed. Fight's essentially over now. It's just Mini Diva for Fury hanging out on the point.
You are not going to win, whether it's offense or defense, every time when your supports are getting picked off. I mean, Quartermain dies twice in the beginning of those 2 fights. First person dead. You lose Bedosian there towards the end when Quartermain comes back. You need to have your supports in a good position to be able to stay alive. Fury switches over to Roadhog here because the pick composition for the Mayhem was definitely working. So you have they're both snipers leading the team in final blows.
Do you think this positioning from Quartermain is a relic of him being a Lucio player?
Not really. I mean, you kind of the first one, he's just kind of peeking around the hut when you had the sniper just taking that line of sight. That's just one you can do regardless of what hero you play.
It's a very teachable moment though, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it definitely is. The Bedosian one on the second point, he just kind of gets hooked after Quartermain dies at the beginning. So in that position, Bedosian has to play a little bit more aggressive because Zenyatta, you can only get benefits out of your heals with line of sight, right? So he needs to be able to see the tanks on the point. He's just kind of a casualty of that.
Florida Mayhem here, setting up a little bit of a bunker for their snipers to try and find a pick on a Birdring or Profit. It's like a burst down gesture at this range, I'd be shocked. The Mayhem are the only ones with the Mercy currently, so those first picks on the Spitfire will stick even if they have a closer spawn location. Dragon Strike was supposed to be set up with a hold there, but the Spitfire had already dispersed, so no opportunity to get a bunch of kills. This one might be a bit more nasty though. Prophet sends in the Dragon Strike, and it's going to split up the Mayhem. They were already committed to the fight, and while the Dragon may not have found the kills, it was how it forced the Mayhem to position that did.
That's a brutal fight for Florida. I mean, they come in, they use Supercharger, right? Which, when you see the Supercharger go down, a lot of teams are going to split off because it is such an impactful ultimate, gives damage to everybody, damage boost to everybody around. So London splits off of the point. At the same time, they use Supercharger. They try and combo a Dragon with a Halt into it, which at best case you are going to get, what, Gesture, who's going to Fortify and just walk away? And then you also use the Valkyrie on top of it. You do end up switching your composition pretty heavily.
What do you mean by impact ult, man? As BKB's knocked down by Prophet.
I mean, with the Supercharger, it's a game-changing ultimate. Like without EMP in the meta, without EMP like as prevalent as it was in the previous stages, like Supercharger is up there, as the best ultimate to have. Just that extra damage,
right?
Statistically. So, like, when you see that thing come down, nobody's going to stay in line of sight of the players in it.
So it's almost as bad as Amplification Matrix.
Yeah, and the only one who can get close to putting any pressure on the point is Fate in that instance, where he's not going to just kind of push forward without anybody there. So they just kind of beef a little bit of the combo in terms of using all those ultimates. They do make changes, though, coming out of it.
Oh, man. They're shuttling in. Using the service entrance. Oh, Halt denied. However, Gesture gets walled off. Guess that's a matter of opportunity cost there for the Florida Mayhem. Player advantage, no mercy on the side of the Spitfire. Gesture will return to the point in about 3 seconds though. Fury needs to get picked off here, and here's the Transcendence comes too late. At least though, Bedosia's able to get back to the point as the wall comes down, but Sire players looking for more. Prophet though denied. Another shot there from the corner main. Sitting in that back corner, or up on the high ground, finds the pick. Crispy Prophet now, he's taking the challenge, but eventually Hanzo just getting that more damage output. Despite losing Gesture early, the Spitfire still had the firepower.
And Florida does get about 60% take on the point, but that may have been their best opportunity. Is Chris going to go to Lucio?
They have to.
They're going to have to for the speed boost to try and get close. You're going to have Hago switch over and play Ana here. So making a lot of changes just in terms of like a desperation to get to the point.
It doesn't look good on paper though, Matt, really. Birdering there, line of sight blocked by the wall, thrown up by BKB. That will get broken down, and the Spitfire can still purge, but they actually drop down voluntarily. Whole hog here for Fury, though. Keep an eye out for that one. Defense Matrix will eat some of it up, but here comes the Blizzard to the point. Fury is actually able to get away from it there. He's out of range of it, sitting in the back corner, and that's unfortunate for Florida. 5 players alive, no one on the point.
Yeah, you are able to get a point A take for the Mayhem and then take a good percentage of the second point, but Fury with that whole hog at the end, it's impossible to kind of get through that, make progress towards the point to try and get on in contest, where Florida, they end up using a bunch of ultimates there at the beginning of that third fight pretty much. They have to switch off of the comp after that. We'll see how London does on offense after this quick break.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Backup requested. No one can
Cease your resistance. Helden sterben nicht. Der Kampf ist noch nicht vorbei.
London Spitfire, many of their last series have involved them losing map 1 and then looking much better for the rest of the series. This one seems to be no different at 15-9. Hey, this is how it all went down at the end of that last round. So Blizzard gets dropped on the point. Notice Fury goes for a whole hog. Look at this. Chris knocks him out of the Blizzard. Forces the C1. Okay, there's no such thing as a force C9. It knocks the Mayhem away, of course, the last couple of ticks of the whole hog. Sometimes getting a little bit trigger happy on the Lucio can do you more harm than good.
I mean, they were going to lose that fight probably anyway. Once they get the picks and the whole hogs in play, is still out play. You would like to see him get stuck in the Blizzard.
You would like to, yeah.
Double sniper for the Spitfire on offense here. Quartermain's still going to pick up that Batiste.
What do you make of the May here instead of a Widow for Florida May?
Florida?
Yeah.
Well, so I think you're just, when you have the Roadhog in play, like then you kind of want May in for to have the, well, you want to block the whole hook combos from the other team, although Fury not running.
They have to play forward though with this comp.
Yeah, and well, I mean, yeah, you're not going to try to, if you're going to play this, you're not going to play far back and let the double sniper gain position. You're going to play close up. And I think with the May and the Roadhog, you have the chunkiness to be able to take that choke.
A great wall. That split the Spitfire in half. Looked like the Mayhem weren't able to capitalize at that moment. Again, the Spitfire split themselves because they have two snipers that are going to sit way up in the back line.
And you saw the May work on the control points for the Florida Mayhem. So why not come back with the May? They're able to get some of these pickoffs with the halt hook combo.
Getting profit, no less.
So I think the May just works really well with Roadhog in these types of combos.
That hold on the causeway, very effective. Spitfire, again, they're not really toting Mercy in a lot of these compositions here. Even Chris on the Batiste, so team's starting to orbit around him a little bit more than just the shot.
I think what you can, the Immortality field really good to save people, but also I think players are getting very good at knowing like where to place it, like throwing it around corners and then still kind of clipping around the other side, and very difficult for like snipers to take out in that scenario.
Amplification matrix thrown down, but there is a wall there. Questionable, but easy come, easy go, perhaps for Chris, who's able to do a lot of work safely in the back line with Saya player watching the front.
I mean, you got literally nothing out of that Amp Matrix. I mean, you kind of maybe pushed them out into a position you would have liked, but I mean, no damage done, amplified through it, no healing done through it, so it seemed like maybe a little bit of a misplay. Maybe you wanted to have it at a little bit of a different angle, but regardless, Florida able to win the fight. Now Florida starts building up some ultimates. Blizzard Dragon Strike here, so you can use the Dragon to split them off, or you can use this Blizzard right at the start. And BQB playing in the inside room.
Here's the Dragon Strike from both sides. It looks like, oh, the one from Saya play was well placed. The wall kept the Spitfire in place, and then the Blizzard came down after. Great combination there. The Spitfire, at least to their credit, are going to maintain both of their support ultimates into the next fight, but they are running out of time.
As they have looked really poor today against Florida. As Florida, like we mentioned, you know, they take the first two maps against the Justice, and then they end up losing 3 straight.
Don't do that again today, Florida. Be really upset.
But I gotta say, London has looked incredible here in Stage 4. They've looked very strong, although they seem to lose map 1. They've been rolling through the rest of their series.
Listen, these guys are gearing up for the old Classico match. They knew it was coming. Amplification matrix thrown in that small doorway, which is pretty easy to break line of sight from Florida. They just wrap around the other side. Fury demeched.
Yeah, that Amp Matrix just forces Florida to back up, so this gains London the space they would have liked.
They need a Diva mech though. Especially to eat up potential holds from Fate. At least the Spitfire can get in position. But they now set themselves up for what would be one more fight. Jesse goes for a peek out of the door on the left side and gets hooked in. He's lucky to get out with his life. Quartermain deploys the Immortality field at just the right time. But London, they're not playing with house money. The clock is ticking, and they have one more fight.
They're waiting for Fury to get mech. As you see, he's very close to it.
It's too risky for Fury to peek out with a Bunny Blaster to try and get it quicker too. They can't afford to lose him, so they have to do it the old-fashioned way. 18 seconds left now to Spitfire throw up a wall. They get BQB early here. No mercy on the Florida Mayhem. They're down to 5 players. This could be the difference maker. Birdring now's able to wrap around. Who's looking at him? He's taking a bit of damage. Forced to keep his head down. No one
heal.
Yep, no one healing him right now. There's a Transcendence on the point. He must be jealous. Looking on. Fate Supercharger gets taken down, but the Mayhem were able to avoid the self-destruct with that Immortality field inside the bunker. Gargoyle blocked off. As is Fate right now, trying to get to the point, but it's fine. They'll be forced to wait a little bit, but the Spitfire are down to only 3 players on the point. Birdring's had to spend most of his time with his head tucked into his wing. He can't peek out. Saya player Now to work forward onto the point. Gesture doesn't last very long either. London Spitfire, they take their time and doesn't look like it's going to play out for them. Maybe a Winston attempt here, but that'll do it. 2-0 at the half for the Florida Mayhem. You go and get reverse swept by Washington and come back like this. A punter's nightmare, the Mayhem are, but they've got to be pleased.
Yes, Florida takes the 2-0 lead going into halftime. London, they have looked a little bit sleepy here today. They have not played good. Florida continuing that strong play that they showed against the Justice.
Channeling the Jags, baby.
This would be a huge upset, man.
Mayhem looking pleased about this one. Half time now, of course, as we head to our payload game times. We'll see you in just a moment after our experts break down what we've seen.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Pass into the iris. Pass into the iris. See that which is unseen. Light them up. Into the iris.
Somebody ring their alarm. We're on upset alert. The Mayhem are trying to get just their third win of the year by taking down the reigning Grand Finals champions, the London Spitfire, and they're only a map away from finishing the job up 2-0 at the half. What's up, everybody? Malik here. We got Brent joining me and Zoe here at halftime. Look at Brent shaking his head, bro.
I'm going to tell you already, I'm not going to talk at all during this halftime because he will just be ranting.
Brent, you okay, man?
No, not okay at all. That was honestly the most disheartening performance of Overwatch I've ever seen from a top team in Overwatch.
This is the team you considered to be number one.
Actually, no, I should expect this from London now, because they did the exact same when they played Washington Justice at the start of this season, and they've done it countless times before. This is probably the most disappointing team in the league when it comes to these moments, honestly. They are embodying the very essence of a UK sports team right here, right now, with disappointment. Like, I'm sorry, I was actually livid.
I'm gonna let you tell them why you're mad, but first let's look at some of the highlights from the first map. We're gonna take you back down that dark path of London, kind of dropping the ball here in the first game in Lijiang Tower. What was it? Was the Saya player on Reaper just popping off too hard? What was it?
Before he's gonna be all over London Spitfire's business, I do want to shout out the amazing plays we did see from Saya player.
Yes.
He has been a standout player on this team already before he joined, basically. We know he has phenomenal plays on Reaper as well as Widowmaker. So it is not the most unusual thing to see him going toe-to-toe, even against the best DPS players in this league. So seeing him perform this well on Reaper, definitely not a huge surprise, but I am a little bit surprised at the inability of London to actually shut it down.
Yeah, what's going on there? Why can't they shut down this one player that's going off?
I think Florida Mayhem have definitely improved. You can see that in their play. I think their coordination's a lot better. Side player popping off, as Zoe mentioned as well. London, though, this was the norm. I mean, you saw in the lower third just then, in their last 11 matches, including this one, they've lost that first control map 9 times out of 11 matches. This is a real issue for them right now. But generally speaking, London are good enough to be able to pull it back and get the wins in the end. But they are currently 2-0 down against our 20th seed team. Let that sink in, right?
It's looking pretty bad. Let's take a look at some highlights from our second map of the day. Now we expected London to bounce back because, like you said, they're not typically good on control maps. But it was more of the same here on Volskaya. Florida just outplayed them.
It was a lack of respect from London Spitfire. I generally don't think that they took the Mayhem too serious here. They had so many mistakes, which just shouldn't happen. It was very scrappy. I don't think we've seen this lack of coordination and care from London for some time now.
On the defense side, though, I wasn't particularly annoyed. But the attacking side that we're seeing now was the most embarrassing state of Overwatch I've seen in some time. It was like London Spitfire being replaced with Stage 1 Washington Justice. They had a complete inability to push. They were incredibly indecisive the entire half here that you're seeing. They could not formulate any sort of idea of how they wanted to attack. It was constant rotations, waiting for Birdering to pop off on the flanks, which he wasn't. He was not getting any angles whatsoever.
They were just walking in, feeding, literally. Gesture came in, fed, followed by Fury dying. Bidosin popping his trans right after Fury dies. So many mistakes, which is, I don't...
Just the whole smorgasbord.
Yeah, it was just everything.
Florida are not playing amazing Overwatch. They're playing, I would definitely say they're playing above what they usually play right now. But this is so under the level of what we come to expect from a top team in the Overwatch League that I'm just utterly disappointed with their performance. And if they don't pick it up in the second half...
He's disappointed, and that's way worse.
If they don't pick it up in the second half, I don't know what to say, because I had London Spitfire as my #1 team in this meta right now. This should be everything they need to succeed in this right now. And if they lose to a team that's just been in the process of rebuilding, it's inexcusable.
I feel you, Brent. I feel the rage from this side of the stage, man. Well, look, you consider London Spitfire to be the top 2-2-2 team, and that's why you're a little bit upset at what's happening here. But let's take a look at what the guys on social media are thinking. We put out a poll here: who's benefited most from 2-2-2 role lock? And a lot of people agree with you that it's the London Spitfire. So I mean, so we haven't really seen that in this match. The Paris Eternal are on there. Let's check out some.
How about Outlaws? I mean, you can always trust the Outlaws.
The Outlaws
chime in, can you? I mean,
they're doing pretty good.
I will say, we said it out of the teams of today. London is the clear favorite in terms of one that's improved. Atlanta Rainbow is a great candidate for this as well.
Indeed.
They've been playing today. They've been playing really well up to such a high level. But you just expect a lot more from London.
The Charge. I think the Charge
definitely a strong contender. They have an incredible strong team right now.
Washington.
No, genuinely, people are laughing at that, but I agree as well. Washington are looking much more improved now that 2-2-2 is coming around. Now that Corey can play the Widowmaker as well. So I don't think that's out of the ordinary with that tweet.
I agree with you. A lot of the Blizzard are really throwing some shade there. I agree with that. All right, so going into the next half, is there anything? I mean, obviously, this is the London Spitfire, our reigning champions. There's plenty of things they can do, but what are you guys expecting after seeing that? Do you think they're going to adjust, get their act together and come out here the second half?
I certainly hope so. I mean, I don't know if you guys paid attention to the player cams, but Gesture was having a good giggle on stage after they dropped the second map. Not sure how serious he's taking this, but I certainly hope that they got a good talking to, a good old-fashioned talking to by their coaches.
Yeah, they lost the control map. I thought, okay, we're going to Volskaya. They can play into their strengths, double sniper compositions. They beefed it massively. They forgot how to push. They forgot to play Overwatch. The second half, I have faith in London as a team that are capable of turning it around and not being mentally affected by being down 2-0 at the half. But at the same time, Florida Mayhem have been given such a big advantage that this should be their game to win at this point.
Yeah, it's almost like the London Spitfire are doing this for dramatic effect. It's
working. It's very dramatic.
It's working. But you know what? They better cut those theatrics out now because they're currently down 0-2 to the Florida Mayhem. Will Florida pull off the upset? We're going to find out in just a bit. Stay tuned.
일단 제 이 프로게이머라는 직업이 저의 첫 사회 생활이면서 첫 직업이었는데 미국에서 쭉 일하고 있는데요.
부모님들은 그냥 열심히 하라 정도? 그냥 이제 네가 할 거 일 찾았으니까 열심히 해봐라 그 정도?
하시는 것 같아요. 근데 뭐 제 입장에서는 당연히 다 부셔버리고 오겠다는 마인드로 게임 하는 것 같아요.
Cease your resistance.
Florida Mayhem pitching between, obviously losing in a reverse sweep to the second lowest team in the Overwatch League, and then against the Spitfire looking very good. Who is it? Is it the Mayhem playing well, Spitfire playing bad, bit of both? Give me a ratio, bro.
I think it's been Florida Mayhem playing quite well. I agree with Brent when he was saying about the halftime that the Justice have looked pretty good in this meta. So I think that reverse sweep by the Justice, that is, it's not like incredibly surprising.
But in the potato bowl, man.
But look, in this game though, I feel like that the Florida Mayhem are definitely winning. You know, they had a better use of their ultimates in map number 1. They dominated map number 2 on the defensive side, and then I think that you see London coming off the stage. They're just kind of like, you don't know if they're like all like into this game,
look,
right?
Honestly, if you look at the double sniper compositions between these two teams, right? I think I'm taking Sire player over Birdring in a lot of these head-to-heads, and I think even before this
I ain't
game,
taking anybody over Prophet though. You've got to leave that out.
That is fair.
You got to put that one in there. Yep.
That's why I didn't mention it. We have a couple of substitutions here, maybe just the one. So they bring Big Nuss back in for Quartermain, who played a bit of Batiste more so, and looked like he struggled somewhat here, getting picked off a little bit early. Both he and Bedosian struggled a bit, so bring in the old head, bring Nuss back in, see what we're gonna see him rolled out on hero-wise.
Like you mentioned, Quartermain was getting picked off pretty early in a lot of those fights, so I think you decide to bring in Nuss. As usually we've seen them bring Nuss back in a lot of these series, usually a bit earlier though, like map 2, like Quartermain's been playing map 1.
Oddly enough, a lot of 3-1s for London where they've lost the first map. Correlation!
True.
Any Sherlockers in the chat? Any truers? Blizzard World now going to be our 3rd map of the series, and again, a lot of opportunity to play a lot of these sniper picks, or honestly, ice fishing. Orisa, Roadhog, and May.
It's another map that the Mayhem have not won on, but like I've mentioned, they're completely new. I mean, the game has completely changed right now. It's Rollock.
They hadn't won on Junkertown, and now they have. So this is a day for turning those score lines around.
And I think with the way that Florida was, when you were a bad GOATS team or a bad 3-3 team, like you were a bad team. Like you would just get rolled on by the teams that were very strong at that comp. I think this is one where Florida, the meta's changed.
Troutman, why?
Oh, come on, bro. Let Florida live a little bit.
Doing the boys like that. All right, well. Let's see if that ends up being the case. Florida don't do well with
this is where they
leads.
have the advantage with this, like, when they had the May Roadhog combination in London, although they have been running a ton of D.Va this series, this is where Florida has made an impact. When they get the May, the Roadhog in play, the teamwork has worked well. Chris there gets picked off at the beginning. That's Halt that comes through. Gesture the hook as well. They do lose Gesture here to Saya players, so they're going to have to back up. No shield to hide behind. This could be big for Florida.
You saw that Gesture, I think, was just taken a bit off guard by how quickly his shield got burst down. You saw Roadhog was also involved in that kill. So between Roadhog and Hanzo's Storm Arrow there's a lot of front-loaded damage here. Oh my gosh, Saya player catches Birdring as he jumps across. Fade a little bit low behind that shield. Immortality Field thrown down now just on that corner. Birdring removing that as well, but he's gone down. There's a hook. It's looking good for Florida now. Shields are up. The Spitfire has Gesture back in the fight, but what do they do with him? This is a sad-looking ice blockers. I'll give you the big tip. Prophet's going to struggle to get away and be able to fight effectively now. He effectively shields the rest of his team off with the wall, but prevents them from contesting to keep himself alive.
Saya players dominated, whether it's been like Hanzo, Widowmaker, it's I think it's become like, you know, when London last year, Birdering would go through these like stretches where he wasn't really playing the hottest on like Widow or whatnot, they'd always have like Hureg to throw in like reserve. Like this year they don't really have that. They don't have the option to bring in like another Widow off the bench or someone you can play hit scan where it puts a lot of pressure on the Birdering. This will be a Blizzard that comes through from Prophet. Dragon Strike here from the Mayhem, it just prevents some follow-up.
Amplification Matrix thrown down, but Birdring has the off angle, and with it, it gets 3.
But this is fine though. I mean, the cards moved a decent amount here for Florida. You got them to use 2 big ultimates with Blizzard and Amp Matrix, so you knew you were going to be behind if you're Florida, just in terms of ultimates in any way, so you needed to lose a fight. You did get a decent amount of payload progress in when you lost the fight, so now you come back. If you lose this one for Florida, you can't really feel that bad. You'll build up towards a Transcendence. The Saya player again with an early pickoff. BQB takes out Birdering as well.
None of that looked good from London, Matt.
Florida is getting the advantage in so many of these fights.
Hold economy as well. Look at how they come out of that fight, man. They use what? Supercharger. That's it. The Spitfire are the ones that are trying to, you know, drag and strike them.
Now you have the opportunity to, like, you could whole hog players back. Yeah, Fury has the whole hog as well. You probably end up seeing Bedosian nano boost Fury for the damage reduction as well.
Gargoyle has to go the long way around. He actually fell off the ice wall. And he is now with Hagapin, the only one moving the payload here, trying to be that juicy bait. Amplification Matrix thrown down, but the wall denies it.
Prophet's gonna have to block on point.
How long can Hago stay alive though? He can Transcendence, but no, Birdering picks him up with the burst damage, the headshot with a Sonic Arrow, and then he finds Saya player. Again, Birdering stepping up to the plate now. It'll average on Widowmaker, but he's on the Hanzo roll. With Prophet taking Maze, looking vastly improved.
Florida just needed to drop a little bit earlier and take the fight on the cart. Like, they had Hago who was pushing the cart, and that's all well and good. But as soon as Prophet gets to the cart, they need to drop down and play with him. The issue is that Birdering picks up 2
I think if Hago has any warning that he's going to get jumped on, he has time to Transcendence. But when he gets hit with a headshot from Hanzo, he doesn't have an opportunity to respond. Look, guy's no idea. Blizzard comes out. You think he'd go for Transcendence there. That is sharp.
You needed those kills too, and those are not just kind of like picking them up in junk time, as that'll be the Dragon Strike from Birdering. It connects with a few, but the Immortality Field keeps him alive.
Good Blizzard placement here, and the hold to follow it up. Florida Mayhem to get an open kill on the gesture. The Transcendence is very good timing from Hagapin, but it's not enough.
It's a biotic grenade from Bedosian, long range there. Able to connect with 2.
They needed a Bionade. If they don't hit that, they probably lose that fight. Great work by Bedosian to set that up.
I'll tell you what though, like, you look at like how many fights have gone by here as we've gone from point A to point B, and you'd usually look at the clock and be like, oh, you know, we're down to probably like final fight territory, but the Mayhem took point A so fast. Still, you know, minute 40 to go. Like, you're looking at 2, maybe 3 fights here for Florida, depending on how fast they can get back.
There's the hook.
This should be a kill.
Immortality Field thrown down.
It's a biotic grenade there from Bedosian. Okay, they do secure the kill on the Fury though.
Chris gets the field, removes it, then Fury goes down. Gargoyle whole hogging now. Gesture, nano boost, but kind of caught there by the looks of things. Prophet just disintegrate. I don't even see his model go flying. No ragdoll necessary, and in the chaos, the Mayhem get that checkpoint. They get themselves that extension too. 2 minutes and 40 to work with here, Matt.
And now you're starting to see some teamwork really between Gargoyle and Fate. Because you got to remember, Gargoyle comes into the Mayhem roster, you know, about halfway through the season, but he's not really able to play like consistently until recently. And I would say consistently, you know, we've seen him a little bit before, but now you actually have some practice. Supercharger comes down, but I'm really impressed what we've seen from Gargoyle since he's been put into the lineup.
Prophet forced to keep his head down. Glancing arrow from Saya player. Fate and his Supercharger both just get bumped up and kicked out of town. So the Spitfire here can establish a little bit further forward. That fight being won. Again, credit to the Florida Mayhem. I think over the course of this series, especially that first map, they've not been over-investing. They've been pretty prudent with their ultimate economy, and it's been paying off.
They've been able to because they're getting so many picks between Saya player or the hold hook combos. They're doing a fantastic job just creating opportunities off of those players and combinations of abilities.
Fury has to actually use physical cover there. He knows the heal's not going to be enough to keep him alive, but they have Matrix in play. That is a filthy blizzard though, and the Dragon's trying to follow it up. Who can survive? Not many, that's for sure. It's very pretty, but it was a lot of ultimates committed. Still, you'd love to see a plan come together.
How many fights, though, are you going to be able to hold this if you're London, where you need, you know, Birdring and Prophet to just pop off and kill the whole other team, though?
Are you trying to tell me that Whole Hog isn't a top-tier ultimate?
It's not. It's, you know, right there above Death Blossom.
What are you talking about?
I just don't... Like, I think, you know, obviously London has a ton of fantastic players overall, but the teamwork today has definitely been much better on the Florida side.
Trogdor passing through, Sire player let the Dragon Strike go. Fury trying to find a pick, get an easy environmental kill off the edge of the map. Doesn't find it though. He's not in a position to use the amplification matrix. It's too dangerous for him to step up and actually angle in such a way that he can get the damage boost, so he just backs away. And now the Florida Mayhem are able to use the fact that the Spitfire looked in disarray to make their last push here. BKB has a Blizzard. The payload now will be entering a cul-de-sac area that's dangerous for the Spitfire, but both Mays have Blizzards. Let's see which one goes down. Bear in mind, no Diva on either side, no chance to eat these. Whatever Blizzard comes down will stick. The walls need to be used to block the effects.
We'll have a Transcendence Orbit Ocean here with the Blizzard in play. And the Ant Matrix used here by Chris, but he actually throws it to the side there, and you're not going to get any value out of it.
No Gesture's a big problem here, Matt. It's going to have to be an ice wall thrown up here to act as a tank for the time being, but it's not enough. But Ocean is cut down. Immortality field now, but Nelson's hooked out of it. No chance to stay alive. Fury gets into the back line, but he's going to get it whole hogged away immediately now. Gesture trying to get to the point, but he's blocked off too. Dragon's Bite splits the Mayhem off into the corner. This is an opening now. Birdring makes his way in, gets himself two. BKB has to live, but Chris has found the double down. And the Florida Mayhem get to the end of the map, just where it looked a little bit dicey. Definitely in the running to take the series here on Blizzard World. A 3-0 heading in a map fall would be fantastic for this team, and it's not off the cards. Sire player ends around with 7 final blows, BKB with 5, Gargoyle with 5 as well. Solid all around from Florida.
Coca-Cola is the official refreshment of the Overwatch League.
Cease your resistance.
Well, London, it's time to pony up. By that I don't mean just pick Orisa and hope for the best. The Mayhem finished the map. No time in the bank, to be fair. Blizzard World is a long haul. The Spitfire, well, they got full held on Volskaya. Their attacking forays have been less than satisfactory today.
I mean, look, sometimes you just like come out a little bit flat for a game and the other team's ready to play up to the competition and you just get smoked. Right now, it's the attack from Florida, they were able to get it across the line at the end. It isn't like a tremendous time, right? I mean, they finished with no time in the bank. They got stalled out for a while by point B, but the way London has played on the offensive side of things and control, they've not really shown any signs of life.
I will say this much though, Birdring looked extremely good on the Hanzo, even in a defensive round that ended up with Florida finishing the map. 12 final blows for him. Prophet only with 2 though, he was quiet on the main. Wax and Wayne, I guess it is, for the London Spitfire. Gesture caught on the wrong side of that ice wall, but the rest of his team are able to push up, and Prophet gets the defensive ice wall. Good sign for the Spitfire. They're gaining position here. They're not losing personnel. They get to heal up now as Florida put up a wall of their own. This is where Prophet gets to save his cooldown. Gesture a little bit low though. Hold, hook, Gargoyle in. Wall thrown up here.
Just kind of throws off the aim there a little bit as Nuzzle have the Amp Matrix already.
Side player down though, Matt. Not ideal. Prophet gets the 3rd kill of the map, and the damage is huge. All towards the Florida Mayhem. That amplification matrix from Nuss looked very good, and he getting subbed in after half-time. Looking good.
And this is the London Spitfire championship roster, right? I mean, this is what you wanted to see if you're a London fan, as Quartermain has played well when he's in, but do have a lot of faith in this lineup as they take point 8 pretty quick. Some early pickoffs in favor of London. They're able to get some halt hook combos in, which is interesting. We've seen them play a lot of like Orisa and Diva at times today. We're seeing a lot of teams incorporate that, but their Gesture and Fury have just such great teamwork. You know, they both have great Orisas and Hogs respectively. This will be a Blizzard to open things up.
Not much subtlety about that one. Prophet just throws the Blizzard straight on in, and while it catches most of the Mayhem, they have an amplification matrix thrown up. This will dissuade the Spitfire from trying to follow up. London took a lot of damage here just from Sire player, and now he's trying to follow it up with a Dragon Strike. The Spitfire will split fire away from that. Gargoyle in that side room to take a breather here in Florida. Look actually pretty solid right here. Have a whole hog still to use.
You probably have the Dragon here if you're London. Yeah, they're going to Dragon.
Trent Sanders from Huggapin. He gets it away. Hooked now in by Gargoyle. See Fury get halted back. Bedosian was able to front load of damage. He's found 2, and now Birdring comes alive. Amplification matrix for London this time, paying off.
I like that play a lot. So yeah, I can see from the top down, they knew that Florida was all kind of playing in that side room. You know, just kite around the corner. You can play around the shield. They shoot a Dragon there, which forces them out by the cart. But then what London does, they throw the Amp Matrix there as well. So like you get halted back in, you take damage from the Dragon, you move out of it, and then you're moving into the line of sight of the Amp Matrix, and there's nothing you can do to avoid it.
Hulk here to the high ground. Gargoyle not really in a position to hook that one. It was just to pull someone or anyone off the high ground. Make it a little bit easier there for the Mayhem to segment the Spitfire and take the fight in 2 parts. That won't be an option afforded to them now. Amplification matrix, see how quickly the wall breaks down, but it was just the scant second that was enough for the Spitfire to get out of line of sight.
Yeah, they back all the way up. I mean, they lose Bedosian, but it's 2 ultimates invested there by Florida. You can just kind of control the high ground here.
God, you feel good about that.
Play a little bit slower, and maybe you make a push.
Holding to Blizzard, Matt. Fate and Gargoyle aren't going anywhere. Fate's able, actually, okay. Interesting that Fate uses that Fortify there to stay unfrozen. Both teams went for Immortality Field. They got taken down. Birdring is now missing. Not a great start. You need the Hanzo to dominate the high ground. A nice Sire player can get a decent advantage later into this fight. Ouch!
And you definitely wanted the Hanzo in play when you dropped that Supercharger down as Hanzo with the damage boost. It was very, very strong. 2 minutes 30 on the clock here for London to get it done. They have to get to
Got to take the high ground now, surely.
Yeah, I mean, they have to. They have to try and control high ground. The issue is Florida will be up there. They'll also have a Blizzard, so if they see everybody coming up the staircase, it'll be a fast Blizzard and a push that comes through from Florida.
Birdring climbs the siege tank. Just delay siege himself, actually, and with Prophet's help, they find the kill. 2 from Prophet. It's almost done. Okay, well, fair enough. He has just doubled his kills in that one fight.
That is tough. I mean, they use the Amp Matrix, and I think they're just trying to, like, create space so they can just kind of run in and Blizzard. And they're able to pick off 3 with it, but Fate takes out both supports.
No way. No way. Dragon Strike through. Who's going to heal through this damage? Huggapin down. Sire Blade gets Prophet with the Dragon Strike, and it wasn't the double.
They're gonna get it.
Fate gets the double kill. I know, but geez, it was so close. It had to be the whole hog there from Fury to get his team across. Otherwise, that would have been over potentially. Oh, man.
Well, like even that, you get point B if you're London. You have to feel horrible about the way that had to happen. I mean, Prophet picks up 3, and you still end up almost losing the fight. You need Fury to full hog players off of the point.
Fate in a 2v6
solo
gets both supports.
Yeah, to be able to take it. Like it's just not. Even if you're Florida, like you have to feel awesome about that. Like you've been in control of this game.
Hey, 4 different supports in the game. You love to see it. Dragon Strike here from the back. That's a London one. Supercharger will be removed here. And again, it forces the Mayhem away while the Supercharger is dispatched off. Very scary ultimate, even though it doesn't look it. Blizzard, BQB throws one out as well. He's actually just on the fringes right now. Prophet's Blizzard, he can avoid getting frozen, and Fury 8 BQBs up though. His position looked good, Matt. He avoided getting frozen himself, but he couldn't see what was on the other side. Straight into the Korean future vacuum.
Yes, it's the Diva change that comes in for Fury as London now starts to get rolling.
Ouch.
They'll have a Supercharger in both support ultimates for this next fight. So, in a very good spot, Fate switches over to Wrecking Ball.
You got a minute 50 here. You're feeling pretty good about this one, Matt. Mayhem, we're in overtime on the finish. London, I mean, if they get a finish here with this one fight, they're set up well for it. They're looking good to win the map in general. Wrecking Ball in the back line. Fate makes a big impact here, but it's still done.
But Ocean was low. They kind of forced that transition.
Yeah, Fate just dropping in on top. I think the pile driver gave him the willies there. Sire plays taken down by Gesture. Murdering in a great spike here though. Self-destruct over the top. And yeah, it looks like they've got this one secured now. Gargoyle and Chris fall. Dragon Strike to make sure the point is clear. And now with the London Spitfire getting a clean finish here. It won't be that hard for him to take the map.
Yeah, as London looked really clean there from point B to point C. It looks like Florida fell apart there at the end. So London will have a minute and 18 to attack to try and take the map right after this quick commercial break.
I think it's worth mentioning that while London looked pretty good on this map, if they get full held, i.e. if they don't capture point A, they draw this map and then lose the series. Yep. So that is definitely an outcome you do not want to dice with. And they only have a minute and 18 seconds, so it's not, it's far from guaranteed.
You're looking at like 2, maybe 3 attacks, depending on how they go.
I heard the squeeze in your voice.
They're running Lucio Moira here, and they're running the Reaper May because they want to get a few attacks of this. So.
But they're almost expecting to lose the first fight, bank ultimates, and then just get an early coalescence and push through with it.
I mean, yeah, we'll see how it plays out. So Florida's playing a little bit further back. They actually have players in the high ground, trying to bait them into the point. So they'll have Fate in here just to contest on the point, like you can put a shield on the corner. And because they'll have to go in and try and attack him, unless they take this round, they want to try and go to the high ground. It's still going to be difficult to access, though.
They are opting into a single choke here. Sire player gets Bidosin though. Oh, that hurts!
That is about one of the...
He's so far away too!
That is like one of the worst picks you could lose there. If you're London, obviously for Florida, one of the best ones you can get. That is all of their healing. So now they're going to have to wait. So where they could have maybe gotten 2 pushes out of this, they're only going to get this 1.
Oh my. London Spitfire now, the series hangs in the balance. They look to be the better team on this map, but that slip up may have cost them. 15 seconds remaining. Sire player beginning the fusillade of arrows from the high ground. Playing off towards the side, Gesture shields a little bit low. Sire player trying to find a cheeky angle, a headshot there onto the enemy Orisa. Ultimate counts here. Sire player's getting close to a Dragon Strike and he's got rid of Bird Ring. The London Spitfire might let this one slip away from them. Sire player Dragon Strike now to the point the Spitfire have to stand and contest this one. They have no choice. They try and split, but Gargoyle gets rid of Gesture. Coalescence now from Bidoshina had to be there, but the wall is going to block a lot of that healing and damage, not to mention Fury desuited. BQB knows he can go for the Blizzard now, and it's a desperate wall by Prophet to try and stay unfrozen, but it doesn't work. Soundberry now now from Nasus. Both Mays dig deep to try and make the difference, but that transcendence from Huggerpin could be destroyed to break. The Spitfire's back. Nas removed. Profit out of the pitch now. Just to drop behind the point here with that adaptive barrier, trying to hang around. But Discordor makes it a tough life, and it is tough out there for the Spitfire. With a draw on this map, the Mayhem secured victory. That 2-0 lead is unassailable, and the Spitfire just bottomed out big time.
And the Florida guy is so happy on stage. Chris just so relieved there to get the draw, secure the win in this series.
Chris is like, bruh.
As the London has played so well in stage 4, but the Mayhem, their last match against Washington, and then today here against London has looked so good. We'll see, can they secure a 3-0 win? We'll find out right after this.
Bring the Mayhem, fam!
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Into the iris. Pass into the iris.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by T-Mobile, now connecting 99% of Overwatch League fans. Catch your league on America's network, T-Mobile.
Well, here's an exclusive deal for T-Mobile customers. Get $25 the Overwatch League shot, redeeming the T-Mobile Tuesdays app now to the end of August 5th. And while you're at it,
it's pretty lit.
Check the score twice, because I bet you've been doing double takes to see Florida Mayhem have taken away this series. I mean, look, a 2-0 at the halftime was starting to, feel good about it. But we know that London have a habit, Matt, of dragging back this series after a pretty average map 1. And they were looking good on.
I think though it's two things. It's that Florida definitely improving. It's kind of been like, I feel like every week we kind of say Florida's improving, they're getting better. You can actually see it now with their gameplay against the Justice, and then their gameplay here today. And then I think London, they also have the tendency sometimes to kind of come out flat in these series, and then being able to just be so good to just like, oh, we'll just turn it on after halftime, or oh, we'll figure it out map 2 and just get it done. And today they just were not able to do that, which I think is a little bit alarming if you're a London fan, or even if you're like some of the players. But I think it's also good for London in the future. Like, they were rolling in this stage. I think it's something that they needed a little bit of a reality check at this moment.
And it's worth noting now, as the game and the meta has changed, we see a lot more snipers, right? We see a lot more burst damage-oriented characters. Instead of these fairly formulaic fights that involve a lot of healing and heroes staying alive for most of that time. So things like Bidosin getting picked off on that attack there on the Moira, I like that happen a bit more, so that we have an element of chaos introduced now, where sometimes people just get smashed from across the map.
Looking at the player cams, like after map 2 was interesting, because like Gesture and some of the London guys were just kind of like smiling, like a little bit like joking around, like not really joking around, but it didn't really seem like it kind of hit them. They were down 0-2 going into half. And then after that map, I just like, as soon as it ended, just quickly glance over. And like, Gesture's kind of like definitely not happy. Kind of like he's kind of yelling at people, like not really sure what's going on between the rest of the squad. So you can see they know the fate of the series now. It's just whether they can get a map on the board.
Again, protecting the differential is very important in that top 8. A lot of teams are, on 15, 16 wins around that mark. And I mean, we'll look at our Roadhog comparisons here. But yeah, as the next few weeks go, the London Spitfire do have to protect their status here in playoffs.
Yes, Gargoyle's been very good throughout this series. He was good in the series we saw against when they played Vancouver. When we casted that, I believe, last week. They obviously don't win against the Titans. They don't really come close. But I think if there was a player you were to look at from Florida that played well in that series, it was Gargoyle. So you're seeing that even carry over here against London on the Roadhog.
Yeah, similar amount of eliminations, actually. Hook accuracy much better for Gargoyle, though. So again, we are seeing Fury be a bit more effective when he's able to get those.
It's something that Florida's done throughout the series, as now they're going to make some changes. So Swan will come in for Fate, but you have seen them play really good around that Roadhog composition with the May in play, and they're able again. Pigoff's DPI comes in for Gargoyle, so this is an opportunity for Florida, a rare one, where you're up in a series you've secured a win. Let's throw some players in and give them some more run. As Byron comes in for Hagapun. Maybe got some. Looks like that's about it for changes. Just glancing down.
I mean, you're a team in a position where you want to win every match left. You want to definitely gain some stock as you head towards the end of the season. You feel like you want to try and give these guys runs after you've secured victory.
You want to get wins if you're Florida, but if you don't get wins and these players get experience, what's the worst that happens? I mean, you're out. I mean, just get the players the game time. Give them an opportunity to get on stage, get the experience at this level, and then for Florida as an organization, see who works, see who doesn't work. Like, it's a lot of experimental things here for Florida. So another map that they have not won, where London has come in undefeated. This is not bode well for London in this series.
They got their first non-loss on Blizzard World this season. Non-loss, I say, not win, but hey, they're smashing the records. They're shaking the monkey off their back, man.
And look, I mean, if you're London, they're coming in with the B team here, some kind of reserves. Like, you can't lose this map. Like, regardless how this series is gone, like, you as somebody who's like played like at a professional level in the past, like way long time ago, like if somebody were to do this, like, you kind of you don't feel disrespected, but it's a little bit of a wake-up call. Like, oh man, like, we kind of suck today. Like, we got to really pull it together. And interesting to see if London comes in with a really strong D.
The pressure's off a little bit for London now that the series result has been decided, but maybe that it will enable their snipers to go for a bit more of those playmaking shots. See, DPI is taking a battering so far, but he's just going to heal that up quite nicely.
I will say, there's one map that you could kind of win, like messing around with the lineups and whatnot. Like, Junkertown is so dependent on like snipers and kickoffs as BQB takes Birdring out.
Oh man, he was being healed as well. Fury comes in there, is able to get rid of BQB, but I mean, already losing those two players is pretty nasty. Nuss is still alive, at least on the Mercy, but Byron now is starting to cut through. The London Spitfire. Oh dear, talk about a wake-up call, Matt. They're still sleeping out there.
Yeah, you can't allow BQB to just come in there on Hanzo, just take out two players, and then you get some final blows from your Roadhog in the mix too. Gesture gets hooked, he almost gets taken out here, so you have to heal him up. It has not been a good day for the damage dealers on the London Spitfire. I mean, we've seen moments as Prophet gets picked up there. We've seen moments from Prophet.
Oh, get wrecked!
But like, it has really been, how many times can you remember where you've seen the London damage dealers like really get outplayed to this regard? Really strong games here from Sai and BQB.
Again, this is a matter where those two kind of players can thrive. Swan, Holt to Gesture, Hook to follow up, and get him. They have to give up DPI in the process. This is now starting to get a little bit messy. Supercharger, Fury focuses that one down first, and with Gesture brought back into the fight, the Spitfire are fine here.
And I think they were going to try to use Byram's Transcendence there to get a Resurrect off, but then Fury comes in with the whole hog, starts knocking players all over the place.
He's angry. Oh, that Dragon Strike. Wasn't fun to kill. DPI is actually able to punish Fury for an overextension. Birdring taken down. Now, the Mayhem are still waiting on Swan to get there. And they actually can't advance that much until the Spitfire give that ground voluntarily.
They'll have like a minor advantage here. That's about it.
Could have been bigger if the Orisa was closer by, but they're not in a position to exacerbate that now, and Prophet wins the duel in that high room in the middle of this route. BQB brought back to life. These guys just waiting for a hold here. He gets hold of himself and tries to go for a take the breather. No good. Fury picks him off, and the Discord orb helps a lot from Bidoshin. Prophet again trying to take this fight, and it's nasty.
So the supercharger there as well when the hook comes in, so all of the extra damage. Now London starting to pick up some kills here on the cleanup. See if Florida, though, can get this payload moving again. Very close to taking that second checkpoint. You have Valkyrie here. A nice hook there.
Prophet, what happened?
And they get Bidoshin as well, so you get two there.
Easy as that. The Mayhem find two. Nas resurrects one. It's Prophet. So they still miss Bidoshin, and now Fury is also gone. They've managed to outposition the Spitfire as well. London are now on the wrong side of the map. Swan sets up on the payload here, and there's 3 Spitfire players in the middle in the takeaway building. Jester's super out of position now. He's fighting against the Hunter and the Mercy. That's clever though. Prophet is able to get BQB while Jester's being chased. Chris finishes him off, brings BQB back.
Yeah, and they use Nuss and Valkyrie to be able to contest the point, but Chris going to be able to take out Birdring there in that Mercy on Widow battle, as that's going to force Bidoshin transcend on the point. They're trying to get a res headshot through it though.
That is so rough. Nuss does land, of course, for the res, which makes it much easier to hit. Sire player can find the head, and with burst damage, can't be healed. Over with Transcendence.
Take a look at play from Chris.
Yeah, I mean, Jester was out of position. Chris and BQB were chasing him.
You can't even get mad at Birdring for that, or even kind of like ooh or laugh, because you know if you play Widowmaker at home and when that Mercy goes into Valkyrie and starts flying at you, I mean you have no chance.
The difference is when Sire player got the Mercy kill was because Nuss was standing still trying to resurrect. Hold, Dragon. Looks like the hold was a little bit too late. Everyone in London got away there. I mean, the Spitfire weren't able to stop this payload at the gates, Matt, so they've given up the first half of this last stage. They've been feeling demoralized, and they're trying to keep it together right now. Again, the snipers from London look fine, though. Prophet and Birdring looking completely reasonable here. Fortunately, reasonable is not going to cut it now, as Sire player is having a good breakout game. Haven't seen this kind of Sire player for quite a while.
As the payload continues to move here for the Florida Mayhem, it has not stopped.
What an El Clasico it's been, man.
As they bring in a bunch of new players here for the 4th map. It doesn't seem to matter. We're getting the same results, as that's going to be a Transcendence from both teams on the cart, but the Mayhem seem to be coming out on top.
The Widow bursts through the Transcendence. It didn't matter. Bidoshin trying to keep Nuss alive. Again, Sire player. Deadly accurate. 48% scope critical hit accuracy.
They're getting smoked.
You know the thing is, Birdring. Okay, so it's a bit misleading. Birdring actually has 58% scope critical hit accuracy, but he doesn't have a lot of scope critical hits. That's kind of the issue there. Small sample size. But Sire player much more scope critical hits, and that's a stat that actually looks reasonable there. Very impressive.
I mean, it's just the damage you're getting from Sire and BQB compared to Birdring and Prophet. You know, right now, I mean, the big difference, right? I know BQB and Prophet, it's actually Prophet in the head by, you know, a little bit under 100 in terms of damage, but Sire player at 4,100 damage to Birdring's 1,700 here. 17 in our first half. The
Birdring,
the Widowmakers,
only accounting for 10% of his team's damage. Less damage than Gesture.
Yeah. So it has been a rough series for London. But we do talk about it with roll lock, right? And, you know, having some damage dealers in the game and having just kind of this setup, right, with 2-2-2. It allows damage dealers to make way more of an impact on the game. And when you get to a map like Junkertown, where it's snipers on snipers, really the people who are dictating whether the cart moves or whether it stays is the snipers. So when you have one guy who's just popping off, it's way more impactful.
In this meta, teams are more likely to fight once they lose a player, but in general, you rarely want to do that. Maybe you get a sniper to try and make a play when you're a player down, find a pick. That's why we see Mercy as well. Not only is damage booster Widow still filled, bringing back a pick player is great.
I'd like to see a little bit more fight from London, right? like former like your world champs of last year. You go down 0-2 to Florida at the half.
I'm looking at the banner right now.
They've won 2 games all year, and then you let them bring in their subs and just kind of roll you on Junkertown. Although a map that can go 50-50, you'd expect a little bit more, a little bit more mental resolve, a little bit more fight from London.
Well, they seem to be just using this as an opportunity here just to work on some individual stuff. Chris taken down by Prophet. As far as individuals go, the sniper pair on the Spitfire is rarely the issue. Sire player is able to get rid of that Hanzo. Prophet can't be resurrected. There's no mercy on the attack here for London. Now with Ocean going down, there is definitely an opening here. The payload will be stopped in just a moment now as you'll see Swan just backtrack. Sire Place is ruining Fools with a high ground, man.
Yeah, and Byram actually hits a nice biotic grenade onto a few players to deny them of healing, but the Sire player back-to-back headshots there. He's got 10 final blows now on 15 limbs. Like you mentioned, he's got the the 8 scope crit hits. It's a 53% crit hit accuracy in general.
Yeah, so it's only gotten better since 45%, and
Yeah,
the sample size has only gotten bigger.
He's just been unreal today.
He's slanging it.
But that's what I love about this, though, when you get the damage deals back in. You can see, one player really just kind of dominate a game and, take it over.
Oh, Birdring doesn't have Infrasign right now. Sire player's going counter-sniping. No, he loves to do the head. Like there was ever any doubt. Problem is the Mayhem they have nothing left.
Yeah, they're bleeding.
It just took Sire player too long to find those kills, and after Prophet once again getting a first pick, and Infrasight now doesn't look nearly as good.
Yeah, no, he's got to, well, I was going to say he's got to back out, but he ends up dying. So although they end up losing these Widow battles, London, they're still able to manufacture some pick-offs elsewhere to be able to get an advantage. But see, they're almost not even paying Sire player any mind. They're like, all right, let's just kill everybody else. Let him just kind of sit in the back. Hopefully, I mean, you can't really kill everybody.
Great pick there. That was a Holt hook picks. You know that if you ever see Roadhog and Orisa in the kill feed together, it's most likely that's the case. Prophet able to clean Swan up though, but there it is. The combos are there. I think Birdring, Matt, is boom. I think it's completely boom. 3 final blows, 6 deaths. To Sire players, 12 final blows, 4 deaths.
I think when you see a Widow on the other team that's this hot, playing this well, it kind of gets in your head a little bit at times, as DPI will get Ocean and then pull out the Bunny Blaster after the self-destruct, pick up another one. But especially when you know, Sire player is such a good counter sniper as well, it makes it really difficult. Birdring, we kind of talk about him, generally as, a pretty passive Widowmaker player.
Yeah. Also, and, at the risk of digging into the psyche aspect too much without a ton of inside information, we know that Birdring has struggled with confidence issues before. I mean, a game like this against a Widowmaker that's dominating is sure to get in your head.
Yeah, it's Birdring though, when you see him really play well, I mean, definitely one of the best players in the world just today. Just Sire players just been way too good. As Amp Matrix used here by London, trying to get back to the cart.
Swan does get nano boosted, but he still doesn't want to face down an amplification matrix placed by Nuss. So London are kind of happy enough using one ultimate to gain so much ground here. Prophet needs to get the high ground. The problem is it's being covered right now by DPI on the D.Va, and
that was walls for both Widows as well.
Yeah. Both of them had technically had that edge on each other. BQB takes Prophet down before he can use the Dragon Strike, and he loses it too, Matt.
Yeah. So they were potentially they did get halted into the Dragon from BQB, but still able. Prophet was trying to use his Dragon to prevent players from pushing up, but not able to get it off, so you don't have a Dragon use at all. Swan here does have superchargers, so you can use it as it comes around the corner. May force Spitfire and end up using Trance if they want to get a push. Oh, nice halt hook.
Look at that as well. Prophet was in a great position to get the damage done, but even Fury was outside of Defense Matrix effective range by the looks of things.
They're trying to res this? All right.
Okay.
Come
Chris,
on.
Nah. That was a little throw.
A little.
Little throw.
They tried to, they were trying to get Swan up, who died on the cart. So they ran DPI in with his Defense Matrix in the middle of everybody.
It's like a
with the Roadhog there, and they go for it. Fury hits one of the easiest hooks he's probably ever had, and they're able to get the pick off there, but...
Okay. So now we're on to the final stage of the map. So the Spitfire, they get a time extension. They're going to finish behind either way. The payload is moving pretty slow. There's an animation that's required to pass. Gee, Sire player. This man's got a family! DPI gets him though. The two-pronged assault, Birdring never ready for it. It's hard enough for him to focus just on the 1v1 duel without having to worry about bombs getting thrown behind him.
I mean, right now, Saya player with 15 final blows, BQB with 5. But then you look on the other side, Prophet with 10. So he's actually kind of like playing pretty well also. It's just Birdring with the 4 final blows, 8 deaths, only 5 limbs as the Widowmaker not come through today. It's really been a huge difference maker, especially on Junkertown, where you need your snipers to play well.
Look at Nass. He has to stay up there for a little bit longer. He had a bionic grenade thrown at him.
I mean, every fight, this guy seems to be getting at least one.
Still up around 48% scope critical hit accuracy.
Byron will get rezzed, yeah.
Both teams res up their supports, their non-mercies, if you will. Oh, man. Oh, Infrasight is so rough. They just brought Bedosian back into the fight as well. And he's so far away from Transcendence. He may not have another one in this round.
It's just so crippling when you go up against a Widowmaker that's playing like this. So you see the effect, like Saya can play, he's so far away from the action right now, and they can't just like blindly go in London and not worry about it. And their only course of action really is they're not going to get the D.Va in position to fight it. So BQB will take out 2 with a Dragon there. They're not going to get the D.Va in position to fight this. And what are you going to do? Like, you're going to have to switch to, like, dive here, like, the worst case scenario? Like, it's still not really going to be ideal. That'll be Birdring who gets a pick on the BQB.
This 5th kill of the round. BQB is rezzed. Chris went in for that. And BQB goes down again. So now you're probably feeling a bit silly. But 45 seconds are left. Bedosian, I mentioned before, hasn't really had enough time to build up to that Transcendence. Here's an opportunity now to get your team set up. And Birdring now starting to come online a bit more. Not a moment too soon if that wasn't easily apparent. Cypher shuts him down. He's just dominating in this Widow battle. Hey, man's got 18 kills.
They will res Birdring, so you'll have him back in the action. You do have Supercharger Valkyrie, and you're going to have a nano boost here for Florida. They're in a good position to stop this payload from going on through.
Self-destruct over the top here. DPI trying to make something happen. Nothing. I mean, Infrasight with Sire player. It is really unfair for him to have this ability, to be honest.
BQB at 1.
Prophet going down, that's brutal. That's the sniper that's actually been doing the work. Fury now missing DPI, trying to play for the high ground. Nuss! He had to go for the Resurrect, no other choice. But DPI just sends him with the micro rocket team, makes a meal of his opponent. And it's just Bedosian now, I guess. He got the Transcendence after all, fam. It's a shame. There was no one else around to see it. Yeah, Prophet removed in the Florida Mayhem. They do this to me every time. Bring the Mayhem, and they get themselves their 3rd match win of the season up against a top 8 team, previous champion, you name it.
That is clean. That's not just a win. I mean, that is a clean win for Florida against London, who they were rolling up until this point, but Saya player just played unreal today. 19 final blows in that final map. They bring in a pretty different roster overall here for Florida in the last map, and it doesn't even matter. They're still able to win this one.
And how many wake-up calls do the Spitfire need to have throughout a season? Well, this is definitely going to be one of them here. A lot to consider, but you have to think a lot of their issues occurred on an individual level, maybe not even so much a strategic one, although there's definitely a lot of fingers that can be pointed, I suppose, at their old economy, especially in the first map. Control, they need to start winning those. They need to go into these series not, 0-1 down. They had a chance to win Blizzard World, but all it takes is one stray arrow, one random Hanzo pick to end your run and end the series.
And it's also a huge loss for London in terms of the overall season standings, where you want to be in that top 6. You get a loss here to Florida. Now you have to beat somebody, over in the top by you. It becomes much tougher.
We're going to head now down to the floor with Danny and one of the nastiest Widowmakers in the league.
Mitchell Matt, thank you very much. Everybody, give it up for Saya player. Yeah! Amazing win. Wow, congratulations. Now, Just 2 days ago, you guys got reverse swept by Washington Justice, but today that wasn't the case. You guys played out of your mind and defeated last year's champions, London Spitfire. How are you able to do that? 쉽게 말씀드리면 저번 이틀 전이죠. 이틀 전에 역수입을 당하고 지금 이틀이 지난 후에 작년 시즌 챔피언인 런던을 이기시게 되는데 이 지난 이틀간 좀 어떤 변화가 있었고 또 오늘 어떻게 승리를 거두시게 되셨는지 궁금하네요.
네, 사실은 어제 워싱턴 경기 같은 경우도 앞에 두 세트를 잘 따고 멘탈 이제 좋은 분위기로 가다가 말려가지고 이제 멘탈이 조금 안 좋아졌었거든요. 그래서 사실 실력은 그렇게 막 더 맞추다기보다는 좀 더 선수들이 멘탈 관리를 잘 해서 정신의 끈을 놓지 않고 제대로 할 수 있는 방향으로 해서 네, 좋은 경기력이 나온 것 같아요.
Okay. Alrighty. So even for the Washington Justice, we came off strong in the first half, just like this one against the London Spitfire. But against the Washington Justice, we lost because we fell short. It was something like a mentality issue. We could have just kept going strong, but we couldn't finish off strong. That's why we lost. So for the past 2 days, it wasn't really about the mechanical skills or each individual player's skills. It was more about working on our mentality and just keeping everything together and just finishing everything off strong. All right. That was good. And also, you guys I feel like Florida Mayhem is really getting stronger and stronger by day. But unfortunately, you guys won't be playing in the season playoffs. So, Saya player, what is your personal goal for the remaining of the season? 이번 시즌 좀 어떻게 보면 플로리다 좀 굉장히 좀 힘든 시즌이었던 것 같아요. 하지만 좀 끝에 와서는 좀 더 잘하시고 계시고 앞으로 봤을 때 좀 사야 플레이어 선수의 좀 개인적인 목표가 있다면 남은 시즌에서.
개인적인 목표가 있다면 일단 당연히 제 포지션에서만큼은 최고가 되고 싶고요. 그리고 이제 플로리다 메이햄이라는 팀에서 이제 플로리다를 대표해서 플레이를 하고 있는데 사실 되게 매번 성적이 안 좋았잖아요. 그래서 내년이든 이제 앞으로든 좀 더 계속 더 대표로서 잘하고 싶네요. 네, 그게 목표인 것 같습니다.
As a player myself, I wanted to continue to grow and continue proving that I am a great player in the Overwatch League. And as for Florida Mayhem, everyone knows that we've had a difficult year and difficult season this year. So moving forward, we just want to work hard and just keep proving that we are a good team as well. Thank you very much, Saya players. That's all we have down here. Casters, back to you guys.
Thank you very much, Danny. Succinct, as always, Saya player is, but it's nice to actually hear from some of these Florida players instead of their GM making ridiculous statements.
Well, look, I think I agree with what a lot of the stuff that Saya players say, that they're just a team, they know they have the individual skill. I think we've seen that at times. It's just their teamwork has been really poor. And I think it's just getting some of the new players into the roster more and having them get that teamwork, cohesion with each other. And then you get a double sniper meta like this on some maps, and you have two great snipers, you can definitely rattle off some wins.
It's a shame though, just as it becomes relevant, the double sniper becomes good, the Florida Mayhem are not in a position to make playoffs, so that is unfortunate. But it's time now to have a look at our player of the match, presented here by Omen by HP, and I think it's a pretty easy one. The statistics are actually disgusting. I mean, incredible Widow player across the series.
Yeah, the Saya player was tremendous all series long.
Reaper as well.
Yeah, the Reaper at the beginning of the series. I think the map one, you were a little bit cautious. You knew London, they were not very good on map one over the last few matches. So you're like, all right, let's see how Florida does as this series goes on. But it was really his Widowmaker that completely dominated just the tempo of the match today. It was not even close. 33 elims on the Widow. Only 6 deaths. Really nice series.
Across an entire match, by the way. So obviously you see some ebb and flow in some of these numbers, but still having 37% critical hit accuracy scoped up, 23-6 in final blows. Is a big deal. I'd love to know what his solo kills were as a proportion of his final blows.
So, Birdering did not make the impact on the game for London today that Sai player did for Florida. I think that's really the biggest difference in the series. We can take a look at what does this do for the overall season standings. So London, they actually dropped down to 6th now, behind the Hangzhou Sparks. I mean, they win today, they would move up past the Gladiators. The Gladiators play the Shock later, so you could have actually maybe even made a play for that top 3 if you're London. It's a huge loss. It's a difference between potentially making a play for 3rd to just hanging on.
Yeah, I mean, the Spitfire, they don't want to put themselves in the position they had last year where they had to crawl their way from the outside in and get to the top. It's doable. It makes a great story, but it sure as heck is stressful. Coming up next, Matt, something we definitely want to talk about. The last time the Valiant played against the Fuel, it was in Dallas. They got quite the Texas welcome. I'm sure the favor's going to be returned right after the break. More Overwatch coming at you here for your Saturday. We'll see you on the other side of these messages.
The Overwatch League is brought to you by Toyota, official North American partner of the Overwatch League. Toyota, let's go places.
Did you see the game last night? Sinatra's gonna get MVP this year.
There's no way Sinatra wins MVP.
What are you talking about? Have you been watching the same
Bumper
game?
has been so clutch for the Titans, putting up insane numbers.
I think you're both wrong. Jonak, still the MVP. Also, first match starts in an hour. See you there.
The real MVP is the Yada Chad Amon.